Just want to do a really quick predictions video for YouTube in 2023 from my perspective on what I think is going to happen with YouTube in this coming year. And then end of the year, I'm going to revisit this video right now, and see how wrong or right I was, what I may have forgotten, what I may have missed, and do my predictions for 2024. Without further ado, let's get started. So my first prediction is AI is going to continue to be a huge trend within the content creator space. It's already becoming a tool that a lot of YouTubers are using, a lot of content creators are using for helping write titles, descriptions, tags, scripts, even building thumbnails and other assets for their YouTube and other videos. So I don't see that going away. But what I will say is any creator that only relies on AI 100% to do any task is going to fall behind and fall into the crowd of everyone else doing that. And so I think the people that will succeed the most with AI will be the people that use AI to skip a lot of the hard work to start with, to build out a rough script, to give them a rough description, and then they will go in and they will read and tweak it and make it more tailored to their content, more tailored to their channel, and make it more trend-worthy as well. Because if everyone's using AI, and especially if everyone's using a similar AI, they're going to get similar-ish results, which means you're going to get a lot of videos of similar styles. And so I think those that will succeed most with AI usage will be those that use it and then tweak it. After them, I think will be people that just ignore AI entirely. I think they'll start to suffer because the workload that AI is potentially going to take off of our plates is actually going to be quite considerable. The people that are ignoring AI are going to fall behind in what content amounts they can produce, as well as partially quality, because any time saved is time you can spend on quality. And then finally, I think the bottom of the rung will be people that just only use AI. They write the title with AI and they don't put any tweaks, they don't add any hashtags, they write all their descriptions with AI. I think those will start to become a flood of content that only does that, and those people that join that group will fall behind. But AI in total is definitely here to stay and here to improve and increase. There's going to be probably considerably more paid services coming out where you can subscribe to an AI that is slightly more tailored towards maybe your style of content, and you'll be able to tailor it towards you in particular. It can learn from your previous videos and things like that. We're already starting to see these services. It's just they're going to develop further and they're going to be sticking around. It won't entirely replace people either. There will be some need for people to tweak the outputs from AI. The other prediction I have is a further push towards live streaming. YouTube's been putting in a lot of effort for live streaming. It's not perfect yet. The streaming experience, both from a viewer and streamer perspective, isn't perfect on YouTube. There are some things that I still think are better on Twitch. However, YouTube is still striving to improve, and I think they'll continue to do that and continue to push for improvements, whereas I see Twitch doing the opposite, where they're kind of ignoring the audience and the creators and focusing more on monetization, which you can kind of see why YouTube as a business model doesn't need to worry about monetization so hard in the live streaming space, because they have so much supplementary income from the other aspects. And I don't see them doing live streaming as a free segment of their business forever, but at the moment they can invest in that part of the business to it just generally improve it. Whereas Twitch, probably with pressure from Amazon, are definitely having to focus more on profitization, which is unfortunately hurting both the viewer and the creator experience. And although there have been some small improvements, I think YouTube is currently outstripping them, and they're kind of catching up in quality. I just see it getting better on YouTube. I see a further push. I think there's going to be less huge contracts bought from places like Twitch and bought from other companies to bring people over to YouTube, but more they're going to sell it with a high quality platform, like an ability to do a lot more things I would love to see. And I think we will probably start to see are things like multi-stream abilities. And I don't mean that by streaming on multiple platforms. By that I mean the ability to have multiple people stream together in a much more cohesive manner. So you could switch views on a tournament, for example, being able to switch camera views and different spectators, being able to kind of create that slightly more tailored event experience, I think will start to happen a little bit more on YouTube, and then slowly these huge esports events will possibly move over to it, because although Twitch have some of those tools, they never really fully invested the time and effort to perfect them. They did have that group streaming. I think that is a great idea, especially as more people want to stream, and they tend to stream in a group of friends who play a game together as the sort of main aspect of streaming. I also see that more audience engagement features coming. I think that that's a big thing that Twitch has that YouTube doesn't quite offer yet. Twitch has their channel points. They have gifted subs, which YouTube have, but it's not perfected with the whole, there's some limitations to it, which can make things a little tricky for people to gift memberships to a channel. So I think those will be improved. I think we'll possibly see some level of channel point type aspect maybe coming along to create more engagement. I'm hoping to see even some more third-party tools that can link into the YouTube chat and things like that. We get a lot of them for Twitch, and Twitch has made it quite easy for third parties to build these cool like little tools where you can hover over the video and it shows you, say for example, there's a Path of Exile one where you can see the loadout of the current character the person's playing. That's fantastic. Doesn't exist for YouTube as far as I'm aware yet. So the ability for third-party people to come in and do that, I think is going to be really useful and really great, improving of the experience without having to YouTube having to put in a ton of effort, other than obviously moderating these new features. So I kind of see like group streaming abilities, audience engagement. We're already seeing better chat moderation. I think that's going to just keep going further. And yeah, I think they're the sort of three things I would not only like to see, but I suspect we're going to start seeing over this next year. The last thing is, and some people are probably not going to like the sound of this, but YouTube Premium. I definitely see that being continued to be pushed. I think they're going to add more and more features behind that YouTube Premium paywall, and it kind of makes sense. And there's a video from Linus Tech Tips, which I will link in the description, that kind of goes into detail on one of the things they've looked behind the paywall, which is 4K footage being able to be viewable. And it makes a lot of sense why they've done that, mainly because I can't remember the exact percentages, but a lot of people aren't even uploading in 4K. A lot of people don't even have the ability to view 4K because they don't have the monitors, they don't have the TVs for it, and they aren't watching YouTube on those devices anyway. So it's a very small percentage of people that are affected, but it's a huge cost to YouTube because 4K footage or 1440p, whatever, footage is considerably more data intensive, both for the fact they've got to store it, likely have multiple backups, which is best practice, and then on top of that, the streaming of it takes a lot of bandwidth. And so if there's only a few people taking up a huge portion of your resources, it only makes sense to make that a paid feature, especially as very few people are going to be affected by putting that behind a paywall. But yeah, YouTube Premium I think is going to be pushed further with more and more things being behind that paywall, making it more worthwhile to be a YouTube Premium member. And I don't think it will be things that they'll necessarily take away from those people that don't pay for it, but I think it will just be some new features. We'll just start to see them appear in YouTube Premium. It might even be that they start allowing creators access to some features that you have to pay for YouTube Premium, even as a creator. And again, it makes sense. Say, for example, they set up an API that talks to an AI that can help you with description writing and things like that within YouTube as itself. I see that potentially being a tool in the future, maybe not the next year, but next few years for sure. Well, that every time it makes an API call, that effectively costs YouTube money, depending on what API it's coming from. It might be Google's own, which means internally they probably don't fuss about the price very much, but every time that API is called, it costs YouTube money in some degree, and therefore they've got to make that money somewhere to kind of pay for it. So these new tools becoming behind that paywall of YouTube Premium makes a lot of sense. And so I think we'll see more and more people join YouTube Premium because they'll want access to those tools. They'll want access to those abilities, those extra features. In general, YouTube Premium, I think it's going to be pushed more over the next year. They just announced they have 18 million people subscribing to YouTube Premium. I don't see that number going down. I only see more benefits coming to YouTube Premium users. I don't think they'll start increasing price quite yet. I think they're still in that growth stage, and they may start to increase price in 2 or 3 years' time. This year, I think they'd be daft too, because I think they would actually lose more money than they gain from increasing the price by a small amount. So I think, yeah, YouTube Premium is going to become more worth it as well. And it makes sense. I spend more time watching YouTube videos than I do watching Netflix or Disney Plus or anything like that. So I don't subscribe to those other things anymore because I get more enjoyment out of YouTube. So for me, it's like, I don't want to subscribe to 100 things, so I choose the one, and yeah, that's YouTube for me. But yeah, YouTube Premium. To recap, AI, more live streaming, more YouTube Premium. I think it's pretty safe bets that those are going to be the case. I don't know what curveballs we're going to see. Obviously, shorts in the last year have been massive. I think they continue to be even bigger, and be a really great way to grow your channel. But yeah, those are my 3 predictions for 2023. I want to wish you all a really happy new year. I hope that you set yourself some great targets for 2023. I look forward to seeing all of your content, and yeah, have a great one.